In this episode of DrayZera Uncensored, we talk to poet and artist Rosie Lawson. Welcome to the maddest mad ting show ever with DrayZera, Jackie Hyde and Dan Pettit. Here is DrayZera Uncensored. Bring you interviews of all kind of things and some deep, crazy chats. Don't forget to like, share, follow wherever you're tuning in.
Listening to the DrayZera podcast. I've been your host, DrayZera, along with Dan. Say goodbye, Dan.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome again to another episode of DrayZera Uncensored, and whoa, we have got episode 76 in the house, but of course, I have not come alone. Firstly, let us introduce the man, the professional wrestler plan, Mr. Jackie Hyde, hello.
Sup, yo?
And we have got the man himself, an inspirational man, known to the masses, Dan the Man Pettit. Hello, Dan.
Known to the masses. Yeah, hi.
But of course, we have got a very, very special guest. Now, this special guest right here is an up-and-coming, passionate poet based in the urban jungle of Stockport, Greater Manchester, currently working on a poetry collection titled Ascension and Growth, a question about self-love, reflective of a spiritual journey, influenced by the comparisons of nature and the self she uses in her imagery of her work. Here is Rosie Lawson! Hello!
Hello, what an intro that was, wow.
I mean, at this point, I wonder how Dan and Jack's eardrums have not burst, but, you know, but, you know.
Bleeding.
That was amazing, that was quite the setup.
Thank you, Rosie, I appreciate it. So Rosie, how are things with you today? Because, you know, we are in mad pandemic times, but it seems that you continue being busy, especially with your work. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I've been really busy. I mean, I have my day job, which is very exciting. It's in financial services, so just you know, chilling out, sorting everyone's finances out and all that jazz. And then there's been a lot of time for writing in lockdown, so that's been really good. So I've got a lot of writing done, which is nice.
Sweet. So how we met in the virtual world? For all those that don't know, I believe I saw you at the Speakeasy event hosted by Andy N. Is that correct?
You did indeed.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, and you said it was your first or second time performing in front of an audience, albeit a virtual one, but still not to be taken away. How did you feel about it?
I felt really good afterwards. Like, to start with, I was really nervous because I'd never really shared my work before, sort of to anybody really. I was a bit nervous, but yeah, I think it went all right, and people have been in touch to say how much they like my work and stuff, so it's going well so far. And afterwards, I felt really, really good. It was nice to share.
So literally, before the pandemic, you never ever shared your work, say for example at an open mic event or in front of any audience. So that was literally your first time, and that was literally in the year 2021.
Yep, that is the one. I mean, I'd literally never ever showed anybody any of my work ever before, so it was quite nerve-wracking because a lot of my work is quite personal and based on my own experience. So it was a bit scary, but it was really worth it. And now I've kind of reached a point where I'm like, the love for what I do and what I create is greater than any kind of fear I had. So I'm here to share with the world, and I'm not going away anytime soon now. So
that's what we love to hear. Jack, you yourself, you're a massive fan of rap, aren't you, Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and you know, like when it comes to writing personal stuff, I mean, we've been talking about me and you personally. We were talking about like how we love Hobson and F, and you know, Tech9 and all those kind of rappers and that. Tell me, Jack, like, how hard is it, for your opinion, to share something personal in your opinion, man? Because obviously you're a professional wrestler and you've been doing professional wrestling for well over a decade now. So how hard is it, in your opinion, to share personal stuff? In your opinion, Jack?
I feel like there's a line to it. Like, I don't know. Like, people obviously like their privacy and shit, don't they?
Yeah.
But then I feel like it's important to, you've got to be yourself and shit, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it does make.
Yeah, it
does.
Like, I don't know how to say it really.
That's fair, man. That's
like
fair.
Hobson kind of puts himself out, doesn't he, to show like he goes through shit and he's famous and shit as well.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. But I think like, yeah, I don't like it with us. I don't know. I was gonna say like, I don't know. Say like we get websites now and they're like just posting everything about everyone, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a line. There's some stuff that some people just don't want to see, and that's fair.
Yeah,
like, I get that.
Exactly. And Dan, you yourself, you have sung songs before. I never asked you, Dan. And I've known you for nearly 3 decades. Have you ever written your own song lyrics before?
I've written a few, but they're just things I keep to myself.
Aye.
I've never really performed them for anyone.
So you're saying, what you're saying is, Dan, like, what Rosie is doing. I know that there are quite, in the world of poetry that I belong to, there's, and Rosie belongs to as well, there's a lot of people that do share the personal stuff. So would you say that sharing personal stuff is like a massive hurdle in your opinion, Dan? Or and is it almost sharing personal stuff? Is it almost like speaking out from your diary, Dan? What do you think?
Well, from what I've just briefly read, I'm not really up to date on Rosie's work. I'm more up to date on yours. But what I've briefly read from Rosie, hers seems like it's coming from a real place of sharing and sort of having the strength to do that and perform that in front of people. I would imagine takes sort of incredible guts as well as self-strength.
And I fully agree with that, man. Yeah.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, but bro, of course it's a good enough explanation, man. I'm more than happy. So yeah, Rosie, so tell me, how long have you been writing for in general? Because I myself have been writing since I was 6 or 7. I began writing by writing short stories about Tom and Jerry. Hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Oh, that's so rock and roll.
I know, proper rock and roll. So what brought you to writing in the first place then, Rosie?
I used to write sort of, this is proper like throwback to 2000s emo Rosie. Like, used to like write down, like, it was a way of expressing myself when I was a teenager, because I have bipolar disorder, which was undiagnosed at the time. So it was kind of a way of sorting out my thoughts, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of loved writing as I got older, and then I did English literature and history at university, and I mean I say that, I mean, poetry was the only exam I've ever failed, but oh well, never mind. That's irrelevant.
I mean, it's relevant now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think it kind of grew from there. Like, the teaching was really, really good, but I found that, like, it was too structured for my liking, and I couldn't do what I wanted. So then I started sort of messing around with the words myself and doing what I wanted to do with them. So it kind of spread from there, really.
I feel like in doing the poetry thing for nearly 5 years now, performing on stage and all that, I felt for me that poetry can be in so many forms. And Jack, you remember the time when this is linked to what I'm going to say. Jack, you remember the time when we used to have them anthologies in school, right? Yeah, them poetry anthologies, like, they were alright, but I just felt like it just didn't relate to me in a way. Like, Dan, did you have anthologies in your time?
Not that I recall.
Yeah, like,
I remember these. They were like they had like Seamus Heaney and stuff, didn't they? And they were all about like potato digging and stuff.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, I can't relate to potato digging. Like, I love potatoes, but you know, I'm not that much. You know what I mean?
I totally get that. You're like, how do I, as a 15-year-old, to relate to a potato farmer? I'm not sure.
Exactly. I mean, Jack, have you ever been to a potato farm?
I don't think so. And I live in Norfolk, so it's quite surprising.
and yeah, like, and I mean, like, the emo era, like, I remember that very well. I felt that back in my teenage years, I used to write very depressing stuff myself, and and to be fair, like, Jack, like, we've had this conversation years and years ago. Episodes ago, where we talked about, like, the emo era of the past in one of our episodes, and we were like, that emo era is underrated, wouldn't you agree, Jack?
Yeah, definitely.
Like we were...
I'm still a little emo inside, for sure.
And speaking...
Oh,
hell yeah. Dan, did you ever like music from that era?
See, I'm kind of different. I was born a bit before you guys, so my rebellious years were sort of in line with rebellious music. So I never really got into the sort of emo sort of phase.
What examples are we talking about?
Sorry?
What artist examples are we talking about?
When I was a teenager, I was around in sort of the late 90s when, like, retro bands like Nirvana and that was still sort of big names then, even though he'd been dead for a few years, they were still sort of higher. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I get you, cause like, I'll tell you now, myself and Jack, we are massive fans right now of Machine Gun Kelly's new stuff. I don't know, have you heard of it, Rosie?
No, I haven't. What's it like?
So, are you a fan of Blink 182?
Yeah.
It's a much more...
2020.
Yeah, it's a much more modernised version of that, and it has Travis Barker on the drums.
YouTube not long ago. Literally, like, when was it? Like last week?
Oh yeah, what? Downfall's High. Oh my god, yeah. So basically, go on.
It's like a movie about the album.
Right.
Kind of telling the story as the movie go on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so
that sounds cool.
It's so good. I highly recommend it. And
I've written that down. I'm gonna YouTube it when we later on.
Yeah, 100%. Machine Gun Kelly, after he got destroyed by Eminem in the rap battle, as me and Jack do recall this, he went to a kind of like a more rock direction, kind of like a rock punk kind of emo direction, and he's got get this, Rosie, Machine Gun Kelly has got the emo fringe. It's still here!
Yeah!
It's alive!
Yeah.
Guess who his drummer is?
Excellent.
His drummer is Travis Barker.
Is it?
Yeah.
Awesome. I remember being a teenager and getting some Travis Barker drumsticks because I played drums when I was younger, and I remember it was like the most exciting day of my life. It was great.
I don't know if you ever heard of a band. Have you heard of a band called Love Bites, Rosie?
I don't think so. It sounds familiar, but I can't bring any to mind.
So they are a Japanese all-female metal band. Kind of like they do a mixture of proper heavy metal with shredding solos and that. And I remembered I was at the front of the Underworld in Camden. I was in the front of that, and the drummer threw the drumstick, and I caught it using my year 10 cricket knowledge, and literally I just grabbed it. I was like, yeah, and I still have the drumstick in my memorabilia cupboard. So pretty cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I love that. I miss gigs, guys.
I miss performing in gigs, let alone going to gigs. Like for example, Rosie, myself and Dan, we love watching Jackie Hyde, the professional wrestler that's our co-host. Like, we miss Jack wrestle, isn't that right, Dan?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
so cool. Like, you go and see it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, literally. Like, where did I just noticed Dan has disappeared, but.
I was thinking, like, where's Dan? He's gone quiet.
Yeah, where did Dan go? But in any case, we move. But yeah, But yeah, literally, Rosie, like, yeah, like, I miss the days when, cause I'm a massive wrestling fan, and Dak is a massive wrestling fan too, by proxy, cause he's a wrestler, literally watching...
It makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, like, waiting for, like, literally, like, going to see the event, queuing up, and all that kind of stuff, it's, yeah, and then...
I miss queuing as well. I miss, like, walking through it all, and there's just loads of people there, and they're like, oh, hello, and it's like, oh, hi. Just like, I know who I am, so wear a mask, but hello.
I miss, like, the weird friends you make at gigs and live events and stuff.
Oh,
you know, you
yeah.
just stood next to like-minded people in the crowd, and like everyone's there for the same reason, and like you just make like the best of friends. It's great. Like I miss festivals and stuff. I miss it all.
I 100% miss it all as well. Like, so last year I was meant to go to Download Festival, but obviously
I've been to Download a few times.
Oh, I really want
It's
to go.
so good. I've been 3 or 4 times, and it's so good.
I would have broken my Download virginity, but nope.
Oh, you need to go, man.
I will. DrayZera will go. Jack, do you want to go to Download?
Maybe in the future sometime. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Obviously.
Depends.
All right. What
Depends
if?
who.
Depends on what, or depends who's performing.
Yeah.
There'll be so many. There's so many artists there, man, that you'll definitely find something like, oh hell yeah.
I'm extremely picky though.
Oh, fair.
I was there at the Download where they had Iron Maiden, and they flew the Spitfires over. That was really cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool indeed. That's pretty cool. But yeah.
What's everyone's favourite emo type of music?
Oh, Rosie, you go first.
Favourite emo? Well, I'm gonna go for a classic, to be honest. My Chemical Romance.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
And you know
I'm gonna
what?
go for the classic.
They were meant to perform last year.
Yeah, they were, weren't they?
In return gigs, but it seems to me that they're just holding off their full return until the world opens up again. So I'm gonna go even more old school than My Chemical Romance. So one of my favourite groups, that still has emo tendencies to this day, and they have recently released new stuff. AFI.
Yeah. Kind of forgot they existed.
Oh, they still are good. They still are good for real. Like, oh my days, their music is so good. But of course, songs like I mean, the lead singer's hair is like a short hair now, but you know, I remember them like, you know, songs like Love Like Winter, Silver Coat. Those are some bangers. Are you a fan of AFI, Jack?
Yeah, I remember having Guitar Hero.
Oh, fair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Remember when Guitar Hero was good? Or more popular?
I was always terrible at it.
Say it again, Jack.
Have you heard of Palais Royale?
Rosie,
No.
have you heard of the artist Palais Royale? No?
Oh,
Don't think so.
They're like new age, like emo kind of stuff, but they've got like MCR vibes, like really bad.
Oh, cool.
Like they don't, but they do. It's weird to explain.
Okay, I'll have a listen and I'll see if I get a vibe for what you mean.
I
mean, I'm really bad at knowing like more modern bands. I'm such a nostalgia child. Like I just go back to my teenage years.
I mean, we are hella nostalgic. I mean, if you go back on our archives about 40 or 30 episodes ago, we did question whether Tupac's still alive or not. So you know, so we ourselves we're very open to. We're like, you know, I'm kind of like in the middle. Like I do like my old school, but
pyramids and aliens and shit.
Oh, fam, we're talking, my god, like, we've talked, there's so many, I tell you what, people, if you haven't already, go check on the DrayZera Uncensored channel. I mean, on Spotify, we have from episode 50, 51 available, but if you want to go deep into the archives, check out the YouTube channel, because it has every single episode, and even the episodes before I even had a co-host, Rosie. Mad ting. But yeah, going back to...
I'm gonna have to go dig in and have a listen to some of these, I think.
Aye, absolutely. There were some mad episodes indeed. But yeah, my first episode was actually talking about the Trump inauguration, because when he actually and I'm like, fuck this guy. And you know what? 4 years down the line, I think I'm vindicated.
glad he's gone. I'm literally so glad.
Aye, it's like mad. It's like I'll tell you what though. I'll tell you what. Although it was scary, the whole Capitol Hill invasion. I have to tell you, Jack, the memes were mad. The memes were mad. Remember Jack sent me an Assassin's Creed meme poster of just people climbing down Capitol Hill. That was mad.
What was the other one? Far Cry 7, and that was just a picture of Donald Trump.
Oh my god. Welcome back, Dan.
Yeah, I know, the Wi-Fi went down. First world problem.
Darn. Oh man. Darn the Wi-Fi. But yeah. For a moment we're like, yeah, Dan, what do you think? Where's Dan?
Dan was just gone.
But yeah. So tell us, Rosie. Talk us about this. The new collection that is being surmised. I mean, the title of Ascension and Growth. A collection about self-love, because I myself had to go through a self-love and self-appreciation development in my life, especially in recent months. So talk us about the idea about the book and how it all came to fruition.
Okay, well, I started writing sort of the odd pieces here and there, and I noticed sort of recurring themes because as I was writing throughout lockdown, I was sort of, my relationship with myself sort of changed, and it's been a long process, but I think everyone goes through a similar thing, so it's very relatable. I think a lot of people, from being young as they get older, start to appreciate themselves a lot more for who they are. And I think a lot of people have this transformation, and I just felt like I could get my work out there and people might see it and think, you know what, I'm going to love myself, because I really hate that we live in a world that's where it's more acceptable to hate yourself than to love yourself. Like, if you see someone who's like fully feeling themselves walking down the street, people are like, oh my god, they love themselves, don't they? And I'm like, well, what's wrong with that? Like, so they should. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just a weird mindset we have about it all, and I'm just like, people need to stop being like ashamed to love themselves. Like, you look in the mirror and you should point out all the good bits rather than all the bad bits, and that's what I started to write about. And it was a combination of that and my relationship with my own body and my own mind and how they interact, because like I said earlier, I have bipolar and I've had some difficult times over the past few years with that, so it was kind of an amalgamation of all of it.
Jack, obviously I don't want to go too personal here, but as we've discussed before, quite a few of the things that Rosie have mentioned, can you relate to it personally? Because obviously you've talked about mental health a lot on these episodes before, so I mean, you're free to talk about, you know, your own personal experiences about this, and yeah, the floor is yours, bro.
So I got psychosis, so that's kind of like a bit mad to deal with sometimes. Yeah, so like I got that, and apparently I've got autism, but that's like new. So I'm now really doing stuff like that, like now, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's like fresh. But yeah, I deal with fucking loads of weird shit as well, like that. So
no, I totally understand that, because I mean, I have sort of like have my two sides. I have my depressive side and my manic side, and I get like psychosis symptoms in the manic side. So I totally understand like how difficult that can be. I mean, I can never say I completely understand, because everyone experiences it differently, don't they? And that's why it's so hard to kind of empathize with people. But I think the world needs to be a lot more understanding of mental health.
And I
feel like when I wrestle, I let that side out of me more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more, I don't know how to explain it without it sounding like I'm crazy, but I kind of feel like I'm more open to that world than when I'm like all like energized up and shit than I do like how I am now, if that makes sense. Yeah. But then doing that and that make me happy, so it's weird.
No, I get that. I totally get that. Because like when I have periods of psychosis, I find that like I'm really like hyped up and motivated, and I'm really like, you know, I fully believe in myself and that I can achieve anything, and like I'm totally indestructible. And in a way, it's a really nice feeling.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And would you say then, Rosie? Obviously, if you don't want to go too personal, it's absolutely fine. But one thing in talking to Jack about his life story, as we talked episodes ago, did you feel that because you weren't diagnosed at the time, and mental health, especially when we were growing up as kids, doesn't have the limelight it has now? Do you feel that perhaps when you're in school, did you feel that you were misunderstood in some regard to people, or do you feel like you felt a lack of belonging? I don't know. What was school like for you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, school was good in a lot of ways. You know, like I never had any issues in that. You know, I was never bullied or anything like that. But I'm just very like. I felt like no one understood what I was going through, but I wouldn't expect other people to understand, because at the time I was undiagnosed, I didn't even understand, and I just felt very different to everybody else, and I couldn't work out why. So it was really difficult to deal with those feelings, and that's why I sort of started writing, to try and sort of make sense of my thoughts, because I find if I write stuff down, I understand it better than if I just leave it floating around in the ether of my brain.
Kind of coinciding with, for example, when myself and Dan went to different high schools.
Right.
I kind of felt like growing up when it comes to writing as well. Like I wrote song lyrics before I wrote poetry, and I felt really, for example, like feeling kind of like basically kind of not feeling it. So I felt like the only way I can let out my emotions was really write some dark, really emotional stuff, to the point that some of my mates were looking at me like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine."
Yeah.
You know,
no,
like,
totally.
Like,
You're like, "No, I'm cool. Don't worry." But
I'm not gonna be like, I'm not gonna be like, you know, I'm not gonna be like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like
That's the other thing as well. Like, people don't look at the positive sides to like all fucking psychosis and mental illness and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, as much as you get like bad things happen, your brain's like so much more aware and able to do things. I don't know how to explain it.
I think you're much more in tune with yourself, aren't you? And you understand yourself better than a lot of people do. And you're very like open, and your mind's very broad, and like you can just absorb things a lot better and in different ways.
I think so too, because I recently found out, I think it was a year ago, went through some examinations and that. I have what is known as HFA, which is high functioning autism. So basically it's very, very mild, but because I felt like different to other people, because the way I think, the way I speak, as Dan at this point has known me, I'm a very, very unique individual. Isn't that right, Dan? So
Very,
again,
very
Dan?
true.
Yeah.
That is true. Very true.
Like,
I never would have guessed.
to the point that like I do some things that, you know, like that sometimes don't make sense. Like we perhaps mentioned this in the last episode, but for example, most sensible people, for example, would wait until their best friend's in, for example, in the house, and our other close friend Rob was in the house waiting for Dan. Like, oh, you know, I'll just chill and come in, innit? You know, it's fine, I'll just chill. You know, yeah. But it's all fun and all that. But yeah, so tell me then, like, have you got an idea of because I don't know how far into development are you in the new book? Have you got like cover ideas? Have you got is there any like exclusives you can give us, or is it a bit?
It's still in its early stages, to be honest. I mean, I'm still working on a lot of the content. The cover's sort of designed, but it's very plain. So it's sort of finishing off the content and the layout, and if I want any imagery to accompany it. Although now I've got one of my poems up in front of me, and I'm just looking at it, and now I look at it, I'm like, each line sounds like it could be the title of a Panic at the Disco song.
Oh man, we do. I think Dan even likes Panic at the Disco, don't you, Dan?
They're okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm worried about performing in front of a crowd.
A bit.
See, that's weird. I don't really notice the crowd at all. I
Really?
completely zone out, yeah. So when I zone out, everything's black around me, and I
Yeah.
can see the ring ropes, and I can see the ring and who I'm fighting, and that's it.
I do know what you mean, actually, because I used to, although I've never performed my poetry other than on open mic nights virtually, I played various instruments throughout my life, and I've done like gigs and stuff, and I do know what you mean. Like I never saw the crowd when I did that. I did feel very nervous, but I sort of couldn't see them. I don't know if that's genuine, the lighting, or if that's just my brain. I don't know, but I felt like I couldn't really see the crowd, and I was just sort of looking at what was right in front of me.
Yeah.
But I still do get nervous performing, though. I definitely get a knot in my stomach, but I think that's just lack of practice.
I'll tell you right now, Rosie. Sorry, go on, Jack. Sorry.
One of the tips we was always told when we were talking and stuff was to look above the crowd. So, say if you look at someone in the face, that would throw you off and shit. So
Yeah.
you're looking above everyone's heads and shit. So,
Okay.
so you're projecting your voice like over them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. I'll bear that in mind, because I'm hoping, like, once, I'm sure everyone's heard this phrase a million times, but once the world returns to normal, I'm hoping to get to some proper open mic nights rather than Zoom ones, and actually get myself out there a bit. So that'd be really good.
So with me, I think. So I performed only once last year. It was literally when I think it was the late part of summer, and the world, that was probably as free as we have been in the world, unless you're in New Zealand, last year. And I literally felt like, yeah, I felt quite a bit nervous, although I got into my flow in the end, but it's only because, like, it's like muscle memory, as he said, Rosie. Like, I mean, once you've been cold turkey, I mean, performing online, that's absolutely fine and easy, because part of the fact, because I'm at the comfort of my own home, but also the fact that I've done it numerous times in this mad lasagna of a Zoom era of performing. But performing in person, like, yeah, it's obviously I will get back used to it, but it's one of those things where you need to get get that rust out. I mean, Jack, will you be nervous should you step back in the ring with an audience, or have you just got it on lock? How would you feel, or you just don't know until it happens?
I think I just got it on lock.
He's got this.
Man, it's like, what? Yeah, that's. Sorry, Jack, go on.
I reckon I've just got it on lock. I reckon I'll be that happy to be back. I just won't even think about that.
I think I might have that mindset as well. I think I might have that kind of mentality as well, to be fair. But obviously, I guess I'll never know. Yeah.
Because all the first shows back are going to be mental with all the people.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, all the people are going to miss all the year and shit.
Yeah.
It's going to be
just
great.
think of how good and mental the crowd will be. Like how much they'll be just loving life. Like it'll be great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dan, tell me then, man. You've performed in front of audiences before. What's it like for you?
Is that for me?
Yeah, it's for you, Dan. Yes.
Sorry, I was in the middle making a sandwich.
What kind of sandwich? What kind of sandwich are we talking, bro?
Just a cheese sandwich.
Let's go! Oh, I haven't had cheese in a while. But yeah, go on.
For me, I've performed a few times in front of bigger crowds and that, but to me, the way I always got over it is I always imagined I was singing to somebody important to me face to face. That would then block the crowd out in my mind.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But that's just how I got over it. I was performing in front of quite a few thousand people though, so
wow,
that was quite intimidating.
What this at the was that at the auditions?
Yes, it was.
And
yes.
I mean, would you tell me? I know this is is titled Rosie Lawson, but of course it's a public forum. Dan, are you considering going back into it once the world opens up?
I am going back into it as long as my health maintains that I can still do my singing. As long as my voice holds up, I will go back and try again.
I absolutely, and that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. So yeah, absolutely, man. It just feels. I just feel like we're literally. By the time this comes out, this will be literally a couple of weeks until the first anniversary of the dreaded lockdown. It's felt like it literally has been. It literally has felt forever, and I mean, I literally cannot wait until like this all is over. But I think, yeah, I think just I just want it to just, you know, just like life, you know, it's just mad. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, Rosie, I will say, like, hopefully 2021 will be a lot better than 2020, because obviously by that time, you know, you wanna promote your book by that time, sell your book, all that kind of stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna, especially while we're still in lockdown, I'm just gonna go full force into it, and you know, get as much stuff down while I've got all this time sitting in my four walls. So, yeah, I've been sort of trying to post some content like onto like Facebook or Instagram sort of every day. So I've been putting up some like snippets of poetry and things onto my Instagram and things. So
it's always good. It's always good. Yeah. And also, I also noticed as well that you also run a you also design other stuff as well, don't you? I think you do some cool illustrations, I believe.
I do, yeah. I have a small business called Pet and Pencil, which is like I do illustrations of people's pets. So I have like a drawing page where I share my work on there as well. So yeah, I'm quite the creative type, but I enjoy it. I love all things creative, so I just get stuck in.
Well, you're talking to three very creative people ourselves. I mean, Jack himself, a percentage of the tattoos that he has, he did it himself in his own house. Is that true, Jack?
Yeah.
And and I said to Jack jokingly, should I just get one off you? And he's like, no, I don't trust myself.
If I could get all the tattoo stuff, I would definitely tattoo myself. Like, I've got a few tattoos already, and I'm really gutted because I had an appointment booked in for last year, and because of lockdown, I couldn't go. So, like, I'm still waiting on my next one. I missed it.
I was so lucky, by the way, Rosie. Like, my latest tattoo was literally three or 2 weeks before lockdown, so I was last year, so I was lucky. I've got my ink. And Dan, I didn't know if I told you, by the way, but I actually told my parents, my mum, about my tattoos for the first time the other week. I think it was a few months ago.
I wish I'd have been a fly on the wall in that conversation.
My mum was just perplexed because I got my first tattoo in 2014. And my mum was just perplexed because my mum told me that when I was a kid I was apparently scared of needles, and I'm like, well, obviously not anymore, innit? Like, it's fine.
My mum absolutely hates tattoos. When I got my first one when I was 18, I only told her the day before because I was too scared, and then she literally just looked at me and said, I hope it hurts. I was like, oh, that's so mean.
Thanks, Mum.
Sorry, Dan, what were you saying?
I was like, oh, well, thanks, Mum. I hope that hurts.
Oh, no, the one about my mum, a bit before that.
Oh, your mum, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that conversation. That's what I was saying.
Oh, man.
Basically, with my mum, she doesn't care, because when I was 18, I told her that if I got a tattoo, I was going to have the lyrics to "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" written down my back. And since then, she's been kind of cool. She's like, "It's your body, you do what you want."
Your mum has tattoos herself, so it would be kind of hypocritical for no tattoos for you, only for me. Which
my mum's kind of got used to it over the years. She's come to terms with it, and now she just sort of rolls her eyes at me jokingly when I get a new one. But my mum's awesome, so she doesn't mind.
Jack, does your family have a history of tattoos? Are you the tattoo ninja in the fam?
It's pretty much me.
Cool, man. Cool. That's pretty cool, man. I mean, yeah. Tell me actually, Jack. Well, how old were you when you had your first tattoo?
2014, I think.
Oh, same year as me, mad ting. So you're in your... Wait, that's... you must have been very early 20s or something like that. Yeah, something like that.
1.21.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely mad. Yeah, absolutely. So Rosie, so tell me then. So in regards to your content and that and your work, especially in regards to your poetry, what are your goals for 2021? I mean, we're recording at the start of the year. So what are your goals?
My goals are to finish off my collection, and get it out there to the world. Start, get it out there, get it published, get it marketed, get it on the shelves, and all that business. And then I'm actually working on sort of like some smaller, sort of pamphlet pieces.
Okay. Has that got a title yet, or untitled?
Yeah, it's called Hard Liquor.
Okay. Dan is a massive fan of alcohol, I believe. Are you, Dan?
Me too.
How are you spelling liquor?
Let me have a look, because I now can't remember off the top of my head.
This is the biggest question of this episode right here.
Oh no, yeah. I'm spelling it Liquor.
Oh, there you go.
Not liqueur.
Liqueur.
Well,
Not
don't worry. With that said, Dan is like, you know what? That's the correct spelling. I'm a customer.
Yeah, it's all down to the punctuation for me. As long as the book's punctuated correctly, I'll buy it.
I mean, to be fair, I couldn't really go with hard liqueur. It's kind of an oxymoron. I mean, liqueurs are more like butterscotch schnapps and stuff like that. It's not the hard stuff.
See, I could go really anal here, but I'm not going to.
Dan, this is the DrayZera Uncensored podcast. Fire away.
I could sit there. Yeah, I mean, I could sit there and say that the term liqueur actually derives from moonshine, which is one of the strongest alcohols you can find. But
It is indeed.
I could do that, but I'm not going to.
But you just did.
I know I just did, but I feel awful now because I'm breaking character.
What is your character? Like,
I'm not giving a shit, but I've actually quite enjoyed listening on this podcast rather than sort of being more effective.
This is the positivity we have in this podcast, Rosie.
I love it. I have to say, I'm a big fan.
I don't really sort of like this coming across but I try and play a character who like hates doing podcasts and is sort of a bit and that couldn't be further from the fucking truth. I actually have so enjoyed talking to my friends again.
Yeah.
For a while. And also managed to like get a little bit of sort of knowledge in, so I'm enjoying this one.
Absolutely.
Your secret's out. That you love it.
That'll all be edited out now.
Allegedly be edited out. Allegedly. But yeah. Oh man, Jack, when was the last time you had alcohol? Because I've been sober since 2016, man. Like I don't know. I know what orange juice is.
I don't even know.
Yeah. No alcohol gang. We're 2-2 here. Man, but alright, you know what, Rosie? Here's a random question for you, because I did used to drink this stuff. What is your favourite alcoholic beverage of all time?
Ooh, I do like anything with rum in it, to be honest. Anything with rum in it.
Anything with
I
rum?
love rum and tropical tiki cocktails, all that stuff. Yeah, it's good.
And Dan...
It's a bit girly, but I like a good pina colada.
Dan, what is your favourite alcohol?
Well, liqueur, it's peach brandy, but yeah, makes me sound so manly, that one.
I've never even tried it before, never even thought that was a combination. This is how little I know about alcohol these days. Although, I'll tell you what, Rosie, if you ever went to Japan, right, there's so much variety of alcohol, it's mad. Like, I remembered when I was in Japan, they had cartons of flavoured wine.
Yeah, just so you can drink it casually on the bus and stuff. Like, it's the way forward.
Aye, absolutely. It's like, it's so nice, and it's so good. Like, I think I had like this strawberry wine. It just tasted so good. And I don't know. Have you ever tried sake before?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Oh, sake's alright.
I used to be a cocktail bar supervisor, so
you know the stuff.
I've tried all sorts of weird and wonderful things.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool indeed. That's pretty cool indeed. I mean,
Good fun.
So here's an interesting note to close with, because we didn't really talk much about your spiritual journey. So so we have mentioned about mental health. We have mentioned about self-love. But tell us then, when you mean spiritual journey, what do you mean? Like, is it like, tell us about your spiritual journey to the way you are now.
Okay, so I felt like there was just more, like, when people kept saying, like, oh, you know, love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. And I was like, okay, well, what is myself? Like, who is myself? And it was more learning, sort of, you know, that the self is more than just your body and how it looks. It's about what books you read and what drinks you like and the pets you have, and do you know what I mean? There's a lot that builds up a person. Like, it's not just your, like, walking flesh. Like, there's a lot more to it, and a lot more, like, it's not just the mind, it's not just the body, it's the spirit as well, and it's how all those three things come together and to make oneself. So it's like one entity, even though it's three separate things, they kind of come together and form one entity. And I think it felt very spiritual to me. Like, you know, I don't believe in sort of, you know, I'm not religious in any way, but I felt very sort of a spiritual connection to myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sorry, Jack.
I know exactly what you mean. Like, I don't believe in God and shit, but I believe in all the spiritual kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I found that I just had a really spiritual connection to myself then, and it was like, I wrote a poem about my body being a temple called Stained Glass, and it was kind of about how, yes, your body is a temple, but you are the God that it's devoted to. So, you know, you can do what you want with it. You can decorate it how you want to. You can, you know, like, whether that be with tattoos or makeup or jewelry or whatever, like, you can bring forth your personality and adorn your altar however you like.
And I think that's quite important. That's very important, Rosie, because I think society, and I don't know if it's a modern trope or has always been there since history began, but I feel like people keep playing follow the leader, and people aren't their own leader. They're not their own individual. I mean, for every Rosie Lawson, you see, like, clone 85 or random person X. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm sure, like, for example, obviously we will not mention names, otherwise we will get in trouble. But Jack and I have talked various times about let's just say gimmick infringement. Would you say, Jack? And lack of individuality. Cough, cough.
Yeah, motherfuckers.
Yes, absolutely. We will talk about this off air. And Dan, tell us about, in regards to your spiritual journey and your journey about yourself, because I know full well the one thing that's always been consistent about you is, and I don't think that'll ever change, is your love of animals. And I think your love of animals, I don't think I've ever met anyone that loves animals so much as apart from yourself.
Yeah, for me, I'll break character again, fuck it. Obviously, I've had my own severe mental health problems over the years, and I've been to some very, very dark places, and if it weren't for sort of my association with animals and sort of taking that part into my life, I'm not sure I would have made it to the place I am now, which might be a bit dark for this podcast, but
no, I totally understand that. I really do.
No, if it wasn't like they always say about, there are some people who take the piss when they say about your best friends being like animals and that, but to me it's more interest. To me, animals are much simpler than humans. I mean, you see a dog that's violent, it's usually a human's fault.
Yeah.
You see an animal that's like these people, like, in the wild, and they say, oh, like, the shark attacked the man, and it became a man-eater. And you think, no, the fucking man was in the wet bit.
Yeah, he was in the shark's house. Like
he was in the bit that the shark was meant to be in.
yeah.
That's like people get pissed off at fucking people going zoos and shit, and they jump over the side and get attacked by a tiger. And that's like that tiger done exactly what that tiger's always fucking done. That
tiger is bred to kill. That tiger is, if you're in its territory, it will attack you no matter even if you're not hungry.
Imagine being that fucking tiger as well, sitting there depressed for fucking days, waiting for someone just like, I wish someone would fucking be stupid enough to climb over here, and then someone does, and you're like, my fucking try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, in regards to that, I mean, so my partner, she's got a cat called Bumble. And, you know, Bumble, like, you know, as Dan says, very, animals, express their emotions in a much more simpler way. And like, you know, I can tell when Bumble is hungry, Bumble wants attention, you know? And you form that bond with animals. And I think the bond with animals, I think people take that for granted. I mean, I just think it's the whole premise of what we kind of put full circle about, because you mentioned earlier how people tend to belittle people rather than, like, you know, be positive about people being, like, you know, abrasive, or people loving life, and people want to put people down, especially within the British culture, Rosie. So yeah, I feel that, you know, I think within itself, I think, you know, animals are amazing, and I think that people, I think people that don't like animals or pets. I mean, obviously each to their own, but what's wrong with you? Kind of thing.
Definitely. I mean, I've got 2 cats and I absolutely love them. Proper crazy cat lady. But I love all animals as well. Like, they're definitely much simpler creatures to understand, and I feel like if we were all a little bit more animalistic, we might kind of understand ourselves and each other a bit better.
I'm the same with my orangutan.
Yeah. The one at Colchester Zoo.
Yeah.
I believe when the orangutan, what was the name of the orangutan? Sorry, because I believe I have met the orangutan because I was there in 2012.
Rajang. You've met him.
I mean, yeah, Rajang was certainly a character in the memories that I had on the one time that I went to Colchester Zoo. I'm assuming you've been to Colchester Zoo many more times than I have.
Yes, I have.
Absolutely. Actually, you know what? Let's have a quick brainstorm question. I'm actually very curious. Jack, we'll go with you first. In a zoo, what is the animal that you are looking forward to seeing the most?
See, there was always one down near here. And you had the fucking bridge, and there was like crocodiles underneath the bridge, but it was like one of them wood ones, so it like move when you walk on it. And I remember that used to always just excite me.
And what about you, Dan? What about you, Dan? What is your favourite?
What is this? Just boiled down to what is my favourite animal?
Yeah.
Orangutans. The clue was I gave off when I said orangutans were my favourite animal a minute ago.
Well, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
We'll edit that bit.
No, I think this episode's fine for no edits. Rosie, what's your favourite animal to see in the zoo?
Well, I don't really do zoos nowadays because I'm a smelly vegan, so I don't really do zoos nowadays. But I used to go to Chester Zoo quite a lot.
Okay.
And there were some interesting exhibits there, and I really, really liked the bat cave. There's like a big open cave that's just bats just flying around everywhere.
Oh, wow.
And I loved being in there.
When you said bat cave, my first thought was Batman, and I'm like, wait a moment.
Yeah, Batman lives at Chester Zoo, if you didn't know.
Here we go.
Vengeance.
That is absolutely mad. That's absolutely mad. Well, Rosie, it's been an amazing podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have.
I have. Thanks for having me.
Sweet. Now, Dan and Jack, do you have anything quick to say to Rosie, or any questions you'd like to ask?
I just wanted to wish you good luck with everything you've got coming. When you finally get around to doing your live performance, enjoy it, embrace it, because it takes guts. I'm not going to lie, it takes confidence to do this live, but I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine and you'll get the adrenaline rush and you'll love it.
I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll absolutely love it. I'm really excited.
Good.
And Jack?
Yeah, make sure you take it easy and you take your time with it, and don't rush yourself with it. Like, yeah, just take your time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just gonna enjoy the journey, I think.
Yeah, and literally.
See where it takes me.
And
what about the destination is how you get there?
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was literally exactly going to say what Jack was going to say, but yeah. So Rosie, feel free to plug anything you want to plug. All the links will be in the description, regardless. But yeah, please tell the listeners where they can find you, like where they can click links and all that.
Excellent. Well, I have an Instagram and a Facebook page, both in the same name. That's at Creations by Rosie Lawson. So if you could give me a follow on there, that would be great. I also have a Write Out Loud profile. That's just in my name, Rosie Lawson, for any other poets out there. And yeah, you'll catch me at online events for the foreseeable. So I've got Speakeasy next week, and that'll be up on the Facebook page.
Thank you very much, Rosie Lawson, for that amazing episode. And this has been myself, Jackie Hyde, and Dan Pettit. And this is DrayZera Uncensored. Till next time, we shall zera later.